Alright, this is some of that squash that I got the other day whenever I was volunteering with the food giveaway and farm share at the senior center. I've washed this really well with soap and water and then rinsed them off. And now what I'm going to do is cut them up and I will get back to you. We'll do one of these, although I can't do anything on my left hand. I was getting ready to cut up some squash to dehydrate, and I looked up and saw this guy or girl. I put some leftovers out for the stray cat out there, but evidently the stray cat didn't make it over first. Alright, I could have used a mandolin, except that I don't have one. I do have some other methods of slicing up, but what I did is I just sliced them up. I tried to do pretty thin, and now there's not much leftovers, and I may or may not do something with the leftovers. I don't know, but now I'm going to cut them up, especially these were big uns. Big uns. So on these I'm probably going to quarter, and on those I may just half. I don't know. Alrighty. Now what I'm going to do on here, you don't have to do, some people don't do. I'm going to add some salt. Just some salt and pepper. And then I'm going to sort of toss it a little bit, mix it on in a little bit. And now that the bottom is more up towards the top, I'm going to put a little more salt and a little bit more pepper. And since I didn't see this come out and say this, and in case you're like me, I ask questions, but there's nobody there to answer them on the film. This is raw. All of them that I looked up, none of them showed that they were blanched or cooked. However, I know that you can. So now I'm going to stack these all on the trays. These are, I'm putting on the silicone mats. However, you don't have to. You could put them right directly on your trays. But in the past, I have found that sometimes the things will stick to the trays and be a little bit harder to take off. So I'm just going to spread these out. You cut them in different sizes and shapes for you. There's no rules in your kitchen. The main rule you're going to do is make sure they are completely dehydrated. I'm going to finish doing this, and I'm going to put them on, and I'm going to look up and see whatever the vegetable temperature is. I think it's like 130, something like that. But I'm going to do what it says, and I'm going to put it for 12 hours. I'm telling you, I dehydrate until it is dry. No one tells me how long to dehydrate because you don't know how much humidity is here, especially with these storms. You dehydrate it until it's dehydrated. Period. Alright, whenever I started this yesterday, the weather was not causing or calling for some severe weather. That being said, we are now under a tornado watch, which will affect the dehydrating. These have already been on all night, and had this been clear, not so humid weather, these would have been dried. Look how much they swivel down to. Why I'm sharing this is I'm going to go ahead and put these all back on. The moisture that's in the air will always affect this. It's dry and leathery, but I'm wanting it to go until it's crisp. And with a high humidity, this is where I normally check the weather, and I advise you to as well. But sometimes this is another lesson of go with the flow. Don't be concerned. Don't be worried. I'm going to stick them back on there. We have tornado watch until 5 o'clock tonight. This is Monday, May the 13th. And this is dry, but thanks to our humidity, it's not done yet. But I'm telling you, we need to learn to go with it. It is okay. This will be fine. I'm going to put it on the lowest level, and I'm just going to leave it in there, and we'll get back to it, because you do want a really nice, good crisp. And even though that feels as dry as it can be, if it's bending and not breaking, it's not 100% dry. Alright, this is the end of it. There I go with that again, sorry. It is so humid still outside. I don't know if you can even hear that. It did crack, but one or two of these still are bending, but they're as dry can be. But guess what? All this weather is changing so quickly, and I may turn some of y'all off with this statement. See, that's completely crispy. I check the weather, the incoming weather, before I go to the dehydrating process. And I do that because I already know high humidity affects dehydrating. That being said, whenever I looked at the incoming weather on, let's see, I think I looked on it for Saturday for Sunday. It showed good weather, so I started dehydrating these Sunday. But then by the time they should have been through, another front had come through, which wasn't showing that the day before. So that's a long way of saying I'm going to go ahead and take these up, because we've got more crazy, insane weather coming. I'm going to put them in the jar, and then I'm going to keep them on the counter, and I'm going to do what's called conditioning them. I'm going to watch them. I'm going to make sure that they stay. Well, that looks like a dog treat to me. They are completely dry right now, but I don't trust them because of the high humidity. If I don't check back with you, then this means that they are completely dry and they're fine. But this is also why people like Darcy with Purposeful Pantry advises people, don't go by the times. You will get so upset. There's so many factors. You dry it until it's dry. You do it until it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video though. But things that are happening with the weather, I'm not sure. You can think what you want to think. I'm not sure all of this is God made. In fact, today, as I was checking my phone, the weather prediction literally changed within 30 minutes. So, but this is how it's going to be whenever it's done. It does snap. I did really cut these thin. But there you go, and you put them, I put them in a jar. These I am going to condition, and then once I know and feel comfortable with there's no moisture left in them, then I will vacuum seal them and label them and put them on the shelf. God bless you. This is another way to utilize some of your garden vegetables, or even the sales that you get from your local grocery store, or if you're fortunate like me and have some farm shares locally. Do what you can to feed your family while you can. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. He loves you so much He died for you. God bless you. Take care.